Well, you keep mailing them and the post office keeps delivering them. That's right. It's another mail time. Stay tuned. Well, this first letter came from Bill Guthrie from the Center for Typewritten Communications and Typewriter Reclamation. Bill, I love your letterhead. It's very creative. The Center for Typewritten Communications and Typewriter Reclamation would like to acknowledge your many contributions to the typewriter community worldwide. Yeah, it's actually a great letter, and Bill, you're very ingenious and creative in this, and I really love it. And also, I love your fountain pen signature, of course. And Bill goes on to mention in his second page here about he liked the previous mail time. I talked about the Higoromo chalk, and Bill had an old HP 15C calculator himself. I had mentioned an old calculator that I was using. He finishes up the letter with a nice little note, and he's signed it with his Pilot Metropolitan, his first fountain pen. Very good, Bill. I enjoyed that letter. Thank you very much. Well, our next letter is from Curry Russell from Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, and he typed this nifty letter on some great paper here. This is kind of like a spreadsheet paper, and it's in both English and French, I believe. So it looks like it's a French-Canadian kind of a spreadsheet paper you might have found up in Canada. I love the green pre-printed guidelines, the columns, and even this approval stamp down at the bottom. So that's pretty cool. And actually, hey, Accounting Forms Supply Company, yes, you can order this form if they're still in business. Curry's signature with a very cool kind of a turquoise fountain pen. But he goes on to talk about his typewriter stuff and his pens collections. Thank you, Curry, very much. I really like these one-pagers that just have a lot of content. So the next letter comes from a local Albuquerquean. She's part of our typewriter group. Her name is Ninette, and she sent me a typewritten letter back a week or two ago in April. She says this was actually April 13th when she dated it, and it's inside and freezing. It was cold that day in Albuquerque. Yes, believe it or not, it actually gets cold, and it's not just me. She says it also. And it's on a 1930 Corona. I believe this is the typewriter that I might have serviced for her a while back. But, I should mention, I do get in the habit of date stamping all my letters, just so I know when I receive them, and I can kind of put them in order and figure out how long they've been laying around before I actually reply to them, etc. Thank you very much, Ninette. I appreciate it. So the next letter comes from Kyle Fortman of Bethesda, Maryland. And it has a nice wax seal on the envelope. And inside we have a really nifty one-page typewritten letter. He was describing some of his typewriter collection, how it's growing. The cool thing about his letter is not just the letter itself, which is done so nicely. And oh, by the way, I like his very stylish, elegantly simple letterhead. But we have inside, we have a homemade leather tag. That's right. Kyle makes these, and this is like a luggage tag. He says that perhaps it would be a nice addition to one of your portable cases or the new KMM case. You know what? That is such a great idea. You know, this might actually look really nice on my KMM typewriter box. Screws right together like that. These crimp-on fasteners. Yeah, very cool. Thank you so much, Kyle. I really appreciate it. Okay, so this next letter is from Brian Okabayashi of Redlands, California. I like his header here, U.S. Mail First Class. That is very first class classy. I kind of like looking at how people format their letters and everything, and I like the spacing on your letter. It's very readable. I tend to be a cheapskate and tend to do single spacing, but I really like this double spacing. Looks really nice. And a two-page letter. And then on the back, hey, we have a little bit of Pelikan blue-black fountain pen ink, and very cool. Thank you very much, Brian. So the next piece was a postcard I got in the mail, and this is an interesting printer's typeface type of postcard thing. And it's from our friends Kevin and Andrea here in Albuquerque. They were out of town recently, and they just sent me a postcard saying they were missing me. So, hey, it's nice to get a postcard from friends in town. And I should mention that Kevin uses these adhesive labels that he rolls into his typewriter, and then they're easy to stick onto stiff postcards. It works really well. Thank you very much, Kevin and Andrea. I appreciate it. Well, this next letter is from Michael Arau from Suquamish, Washington State in the U.S. here, and you can tell it is sealed with a wax seal, and Michael does a really great job of making these letters where you don't need a separate envelope. I'm going to attempt to refold it back in the way it was. You just basically fold it up like that. You have these little tucks in here that keeps it secure. And yes, when I was opening it, I did slice through some of the paper. I apologize, I was being very sloppy. And a wonderful little letterhead, looks like a Smith Corona 5 Series typewriter here up in the upper left corner, done with color printing. And just a nice letter. I love the grade of paper on this, Mike. You did a really great job. You're mentioning the wide carriage KMG in your note right here. It's always fun to get these letters, especially he was talking here about having received my Alaskan Amber Brewing Company cardboard carton postcard. And so, yeah, it is fun to do that, Michael. And I thank you again for this very innovative form of mailing your letters in the letter becomes its own envelope. And I'm going to have to try that myself one of these days. And just to show you here, you basically fold your letter into kind of thirds into the middle like this, right? Just together like that. And then you're going to make a narrow fold on one side and a wide fold on the other so that this becomes sort of U.S. letter size. It conforms to that size. And then the larger flap tucks inside of the smaller flap, as I'm demonstrating here not very well, like that. So those get tucked in there, and then a wax seal seals it up and keeps it nice and secure, so you can tell if the king or queen's black chamber has opened your letter. Now, this letter right here is a special package. Florian Jung from Germany had sent me this package in January of this year, and it got lost in the mail. He actually sent me another shipment of this homemade paper, this wonderful homemade paper. But the original shipment finally came through, and I am so excited about that. So this is absolutely a wonderful package. So he leaves a little typewritten page describing all the different kinds of papers that are in this package, and even includes a very cool little Apple-styled paperclip thing. That was so cool. And he continues on the second side, describing in very much detail how the papers are made. This is real craftsmanship. So this is his card with his contact information, but it's actually embossed on the back side, and it's really nice and thick. Okay, so he has, first of all in here, a wonderful letter. And this is, of course, done on homemade paper with a wonderful bird stamp, a woodpecker stamp. If you're a stamp collector, a philatelist, you'll love these. And look at the way this thing opens up here, kind of a rectangle or a diamond shaped that opens up to reveal the letter that's also on handmade paper. He dates it January 26, 2021 from Bonn, Germany. Dear Joe, and look at the wonderful typing. Now, this was typed on an Adler Jr., a 1964 Adler Jr. He's saying that not far away from his hometown is a paper museum. And this museum shows how paper was made in the last decades. And so he has gotten into the craft of paper making very heavily, and he's an extremely talented craftsman here. He goes into a lot of detail about how the paper is made, which is wonderful. And, you know, this paper is thick, but it has a wonderful smooth texture to it. And also, there is a kind of a perfumey smell to it. This sheet is made from flax fibers, colored with yellow and light brown pigment. And he says, unfortunately, some perfume from last experiment stuck in the wood tap. So it may smell a bit like Hugo Boss. Ah, Hugo Boss. That's what I'm smelling right now. This is a wonderful letter. Just the craftsmanship of this is so great, right? So, but we have an entire envelope here. wax sealed, but we have an opening right here, and we have all of these wonderful papers. Structured Soft Touch, I think it's what this is pure cotton, and it's air dried. Nice thick piece of paper. Wow, this is very cool. And a homemade envelope to match it. It has almost a felt-like texture to it. Okay, so the next is a beige colored purple cornflower blossom. I think it's this one. An empty envelope. Yeah, okay, so look at this envelope. Look at the way he makes this. It's so professional looking and yet so creative at the same time, right? And then the white colored with a blue glimmer, so there's shiny little flecks of blue in here you may not be able to see. This little envelope has, oh, look at this, a little note card. It's like a Christmas ornament themed note card. Oh, isn't that so cool? I could see putting that on a Christmas package this year. All right, let me close this up. Okay, then the yellowish, greenish colored blue cornflower and yellowed iron flax and eucalyptus and yellow marigold blossoms. And this is an envelope with a delicate note card paper, and it has been stamped with this dragonfly style cutout right here, and then an embossing, a dragonfly embossing corresponding to it here. How cool is that? That is so wonderful, and it just elicits so much the sense of the natural ingredients that they're made from. So here we have light beige colored lavender blossoms, mulberry from the Himalayas, which is called Lukta, if I'm reading that right. And this is another gift, another envelope with a little note card in it, folded. And these would be so handy to use for gift cards. You know, you attach one of these little cards and envelopes to a gift, handwritten in fountain pen or something. So cool. The big blue sheet, which is the envelope, I think, is made of denim blue jeans. Okay, small white sheets, big rusty buckeye blossoms, ironed cotton, and so this is ironed cotton sheets, and it just has such a neat texture and look to it. And so this was, this is another sample of the same paper, I believe. This is written with a Kuiko fountain pen. This was a Japanese gel pen, homemade acorn ink, and this was with a ball pen. So he has different pen samples that tells you how they write on this kind of paper, which is really wonderful. And then I should note, there's a second note here behind the main one that talks about the green cotton paper, so that's this here, was colored with acrylic paint. The mulberry lacta wasn't colored but left in its natural color. It's the only paper that shows this satin shimmer. The flax eucalyptus paper is colored with natural pigment, and the beige flax paper is colored with Yorkshire tea. How cool is that? So there's an enormous amount of skill, experience, and creativity that goes into Florian's paper work here. And I really think that there's more paper here than I can actually take advantage of in terms of gifting and letters and whatnot. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to give these away to some of you people out there. Stay tuned for that in the upcoming weeks. Thank you very much, Florian. What a great gift. Okay, this last Sunday when I tuned in late to Gregory Short's Typewriter Club on YouTube, Ted Munk was saying he was in the process of wrapping up a package for me. This came in the mail today. So we have a Roadrunner stamp, some chili peppers, and some Japanese verse with kind of a hang ten sign there. And of course the idea is I'd like to preserve the box because I'm a cheapskate. All right. I've gotten a number of packages over the years from Ted, and it's always fun. So this is going to be a real treat for you guys. Yes, I have a new boom system going on here, folks. Okay, Word Nerd. A Word Nerd pen. I'm going to have to get this out of here without damaging it. Yes, there it is. Hey, a new pen for my hat. Yes, I am a Word Nerd. That's right. How cool is that? All right, now look what I have. Ooh, okay. This is Steam Crow. That's right. Steam Crow Authority Tender. That's right. This is legal tender in some Asian country, I'm sure, or a restaurant. It's 13 Crowbucks. That's absolutely fantastic. I haven't had any Crowbucks yet. And, of course, I've seen these decorative Asian-themed envelopes before in Ted's packages, so let's see what we have here. Ted is always a master of sending such fun stuff. Okay, there's the envelope. Let's see. Okay, here, first of all, we have a cloth patch, an iron-on patch, a Bigfoot patch. Yes, a Bigfoot patch. Wonderful. We need that. Okay, now, oh, yes, okay, we have my Bigfoot spirit badge, and there's a secret code and all that. I don't know if I'm even supposed to show that on the air, but it's supposed to be secret. And this is the Monster Scouts Believe, Study, and Protect card here. And this is the Magic Gathering, the Deck Master, and, hey, the Maze of Shadows card. Very cool. But, hey, wait, there's more. First of all, we have a letter. 18th April, Yule 2021. Very good. I love the Yule part. Please enclosed find a variety of random treasures and bits and bobs for your enjoyment. Oh, the camera is mainly intended as a USB hard drive full of various spoken word and musical selections and some audiobooks you may enjoy. The camera does work, but it eats batteries like mad. These early aughts YouTube cameras were all the rage for a hot minute back then, and then turn up at thrift stores. Oh, that is so cool. And of course, I love Ted's old letterhead here and his Right Reverend Ted Munk stamp and all that. Okay, so we have, yes, okay, the goodies here. All right, let's see what this is. I had one of these. This is a flip. This was one of my favorite cameras. It's a flip video camera, and I think I had 2 or 3 of these. Full switch on side to pop open, yes. Folder, Joe, open me folder. So he's using a flip video camera as a USB drive. That is so cool. I'll have to check that out. But oh wait, there's more. Oh look, a Fossil typewriter little bag. It looks like the kind of a bag that you would keep your marbles in. And you know, it's very likely that I've lost my marbles, Ted. Okay, looky here. Alrighty, you know what? These look like typewriter feet, if I'm not mistaken. And let's focus here. And there's a secret little message written, sealed in the magic threads. Oh, look at this. It's like sort of like Japanese or Chinese, really thin. This paper is so cool. Typewritten. So, there's 2 sets of feet made from the finest Corinthian rubber. Yes, shaved from the noses of alabaster Corinth elephants. Of course they are. Mixed with the ground shells of onyx-eyed snails. Yes, that I would expect no less. So this is for my Smith Corona square line and a set for my blue Underwood portable. It's the Underwood that you use, the 2 that have the tops cut off. Yes, exactly. Hey, thank you very much, Ted. Some typewriter feats directly from the laboratory of Mr. Ted Munk. What a great package of gifts. I'm still trying to figure out the Abraham Lincoln with the kind of Illuminati forehead symbol thing. There's got to be some power in that. I'm going to have to figure that out. Now that I have my fossil bag, yes, I'm going to have to maybe put some pens in this thing, I think. Well, I certainly enjoyed all of these gifts from Ted and everybody else. Florian, your paper craft work is just absolutely marvelous, and I'm going to figure out a way to share these with other people. And, of course, all the letters and cards, and, of course, Ted's. He always sends me these great care packages of all kinds of interesting things. Yeah, and I have some files to look at and view and listen to on the little flip camera here. Very cool. And, oh, you guys like my little homemade camera boom setup. This is a 10-pound Jack LaLanne barbell weight in the back here. This is all homemade from some wooden bits and an old tripod head. And so, you know, I'm using a Joby Gorilla Pod ball head here, and I can kind of hover the camera right over and focus down on it and everything. So that's my new little thing that I've been playing with. I'll probably do a video about this one of these days. Let me get this out of the way. There you go. Well, in the meantime, thank you, everybody, for all the things you send. The mail time is a lot of fun for me. I like receiving cards and letters. It is a challenge at times keeping up with them and tracking them when I received them and whether I've responded or not, but that's just kind of the challenge of all of that. So before we close, of course, we have to safely fold up, our Opinel French-made craftsman's knife and re-sheath it, put it away safely. And I wish you guys the very best. And until next time, stay well, stay creative, have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye.